What do you think of the UK scene at the moment?
Yeah, bro, it's popping off. Like, you can't fault it. Like, everyone's doing their thing. And there just seems to be like a whole new wave of artists and MCs that are capitalizing on the popularity that this game's got at the moment. So no, there's been a massive cultural shift, I think, and the way people rap is completely different. Yeah. But in a way, it's still unique. It's still special. I'd like to hear more MCs spreading like more positive messages. People that are more like, I wouldn't say poetic, but I'd say like people that respect the craft a little more, because everything's just very, let's do it fast, let's make it really accessible. Like, people's concentration spans are small, so make the song short, make the verses short, fuck that, just some cool ad libs, quick hook, you know what I mean? Everything's quick, you know what I mean? Quick.
Sure.
So it's part of the reason why everything's excelling so fast. But every now and then you get someone come through, and if you can tell they take time and they respect the craft, and yeah.
Sure. I mean, I absolutely welcome that, you know. But I like to have yourself, Loki, Dave, Lady Alicia's popping off. She's everywhere at the moment on TV, and you know, so definitely welcome that.
She definitely deserves it, man. She's been doing this so fucking long.
You know, going back to your albums, you know, you had Your Culture 2011.
I think it was really made in like 2010 and released.
Right. Okay.
I'm not quite sure. I might be just talking rubbish right now, but bro, that album anyway was just a compilation of songs that I'd been making from the start of my writing. Every song that I writ that I was like, oh, that's sick, I'm gonna keep that for like a potential debut album. I keep writing, I'll be like, oh, that's sick, I'm gonna keep that for a debut album. Then once I had the track list, I was like, that's my debut album. And it ended up becoming like a sort of documentation of everything of my life to that point. So
sure, it was a really big hit, you know. I still bang it today in my car, you know.
Yeah, so it's a classic, that one, man.
Sure.
Might have to revisit it myself, you know what I mean, and give it a listen again, catch some bars that I forgot.
From there, though, you released it. Is it Dreamland? Dreamland.
I released Your Culture was like my debut, but it was more of like a mixtape. I just put it out for free. After that, I released Campaign. Then I had a few more mixtapes, but Dreamland was my debut album. Yeah, my big debut, I guess.
Sure. What was the writing process in Dreamland? I know you mentioned just you know, you've written a song and you maybe put it aside for maybe your debut album, and then once you had,
it was pretty much the same thing that I did with Your Culture. Like, I would just write certain tunes and I'll be like, that is a special track, like I need to keep that.
Sure.
And but it took a couple of years, but I had an outstanding album, in my opinion. And the writing's always the easiest bit. It's always the mixing and the mastering and the recording and the videos and the marketing, and that's all the that's the stuff that takes ages, bro.
Sure.
Especially when you you're going into deals and you're tying up, you want things to happen quick and you're waiting on this, and it can get a bit long sometimes.
Sure. I think after then Mike Wright just became Mike Reckless for the I Am Reckless album. I think it was 1 or 2 years after that, after the Dreamland album.
Yeah.
What was the change in name? What was the reasons behind that?
I just wanted to be honest, bro, I was really just experimenting with some stuff, and I found it difficult to like go under the alias of Mike Righteous when I was just at a very strange point in my life where I didn't particularly like who I was, and I just had a lot of anger, and I don't know. I just struggled with a lot of like mental problems,
Hmm.
a lot of internal problems.
I wanted to touch on that, Mike. You know, you're humble, you know, you're open in your lyrics. I just wanted to touch on how you put all that lyrical content on your songs. You know, you are open about that. I mean, how is My Righteous now?
Uh, I just take every day as it comes, to be honest, bro.
Sure.
Like the work outside of music that I want to do on myself is like the hardest work because I'm quite hard on myself. And my idea of working hard is working really hard. So if I'm not working really hard and every day working harder, I start beating myself up. And then some days I won't do nothing and I'll really beat myself up. And I'll create a negative, like I'll just be like digging this deep cavity of negativity lower and lower, and then you just think this is a cycle and I just need to come out and get back to what I'm doing, and even if I'm not feeling it at first, I just have to do it.
Yeah.
So it's one thing saying it, it's another thing doing it, but I just feel like I'll always get through it.
Mm-hmm.
It's what else can you do? You just have to get through it, and you have days where you're just like, oh, today's not the day. But it helps having structure and a bit of routine, and it's always good when you're eating better and you're looking better and you're feeling better. So, but then with that looking better, you have to work hard to maintain to look good and to feel good. It takes a lot of willpower to avoid certain aisles in the shopping in the supermarket. You know what I mean? Like it takes a lot of willpower just to like sometimes wake up early in the morning, bruv. And I've had times where I feel like I'm on top of the world and I can't be stopped, and then I'll have times where I just like just think fuck it, blood. Like I'm just don't just want to break down, and but they become less and less frequent, and I don't think it's as bad as it was before.
Sure.
I don't know. I'm just growing as a person, learning, going through life, just stumbling my way through.
Yeah.
And every now and then I just realize like we're just floating in space right now. So let's not be too hard on yourself. And as long as I try, I'm doing my best. That's all I care about, you know. I always feel better when I'm getting up early. I always feel better when I'm eating better food, and I always feel better when I'm going out for runs and stuff, going on jogs, getting myself like doing some workouts and doing my writing and doing stuff that's good for me. Everything we do and everything we say and everything we consume can only harm you or help you. And it's unfortunate, but the bad stuff always feels the greatest.
Yeah.
The good stuff doesn't ever really feel great at the time, but you feel great for it immediately after. And, you know, the good stuff that hurts when you're doing it, it might hurt, but it don't hurt nowhere near as much as how I feel when I'm just consumed by my own sadness and stuff and I'm not feeling myself. But yes, it's easy to do.
Sure.
It's easy to quit. It's easy to give up. It's easy to not be asked. It's easy to not go on that jog. It's easy to stay in bed and play Call of Duty and not do anything else. But it just takes that little bit of that little mental battle with yourself. And you just got to crack on. So like if you'd have spoke to me yesterday, I would have just well, you probably wouldn't have got the chance to speak to me yesterday because I was just not in the mood. But I just have days, you know what I mean? This just comes and it will go, and that's it. Like, but in this moment, I feel good. You know what I mean? I took some steps today to sort my diet out, sort my my physical health out,
Sure.
and my mental health feels good because of that.
Sure. I can kind of relate because, you know, going back 5-6 years, I was a semi-pro bodybuilder, so I kind of relate to the working out, the diets, and it makes them endorphins kick in your brain, and you do feel good about that. So,
I mean, if hard work at the time, I bet when you strap up and you go to the gym, you're like, oh, blood, am I going to do this again? Am I going to eat fish and rice cake for another day in a row? Like,
exactly. I remember them days well, you know, where just like Groundhog Day, I had one day off from the gym a week. I was doing 6 days a week in the gym and 2.5 hours training, and just the diet was full on, you know, eating every 2.5 hours, chicken breast, the rice cakes, like you say. Groundhog Day, but you know, I got the results I wanted. You know, I got the pictures to look back on, videos to look back on. So I kind of relate to that, but it does make you feel good, and you know, when you're doing it.
Sure, man. Yeah, but I'm just someone who's incredibly like sometimes over analyze, I overthink, and I'm super hard on myself. So it doesn't make this all just goes back to like my childhood and stuff like that. Sure. But it's who I am today, and some of the stuff I'm trying to like undo, some of the things I've been shown, and some of the things that I've been brought up to know, but I'll try and undo some of that. But yeah, definitely just keep pushing on until you die.
Good advice, Mike. Good advice.
Yeah.
Well, that was the next question. What advice would you give to people who's going through it right now?
My best piece of advice for people that are going through it right now is get yourself up. Stop beating yourself up. Put on your shoes. Go for a little jog.
Sure.
Come back. Get some good sleep. Get some good food. Mate, eating clean is your physical health is directly linked to your mental health. So if you can take care of your physical well-being, you're going to be happy. Like if you can look after you, it sounds stupid, but if you take care of your gut, you put good things in your gut, you will be happy. You'll be happier.
Oh.
Trust me, if you just drink more water, less fizzy drink, less processed food, less and just get a little bit of exercise. Make sure you're doing the things to feel fulfilled, whatever it is. Do a bit of writing, you do a bit of running, you do a bit of sports. Just make sure you've got a good balance. You know what I mean? You're not just wasting your days. My dad's fucking 70 and he makes a point of getting up at 5 a.m. He ain't got nothing to do.
Sure.
He gets up and he goes for long walks, and he says he can't stay in the house for too long because he's just gonna like suffer, sit there just doing what? Nothing. He has to do something. So
sure.
Our naturally we want to adventure and we want to explore and we want to see the wonders of the world, what it has to offer. So life is short. Experience it while you can, because this is just one version of life. There's a life outside of this, a completely different experience, and we'll learn to appreciate this experience because we take it with us wherever we go. So when we go on to another life and we carry on this experience, but we carry this experience with us, we want to be happy with what we've done. We want to look back and we want to not feel resentment. We want to know we treated everyone with the utmost love and respect, the people that we cared about. And we want to know that we were good examples and we can leave behind somewhat of a legacy for people. It doesn't matter what it is, whatever you leave behind, you might invent something small, but it's going to live forever. My main advice to people is just to, don't worry and try and be happy.
Very wise advice. Very, very wise advice. I mean, your music's helped a lot of people, including myself. I had episodes there last year, and listening to the likes of yourself, Loki, Tupac, and the likes, it really got me through some dark days. And
Yeah.
I mean, what's your reaction on? I mean, you get messages, Instagram messages, Facebook messages from people telling you their story or telling you how your lyrics has helped them through some dark times.
Well, first of all, it always takes me back, and I'm like,
yeah,
shit, like, you know what I mean? Like, this guy, I don't even know who this person is, and they have this connection with me. But I've had it where I've gone through some horrible breakups, and I've listened, and I've had a theme tune that I've just banged, and
yeah,
you know what I mean? I've messaged that artist, yo, this song fucking really got me out of this. But essentially, it was never really the music. The music's just the soundtrack to the struggle, and the struggle is yours to own. You know, you got to own that, bro. You got to just wait. You got to be like, that's the real trophy right there. Being able to look at that time and say, hey, I got myself out of that. You know what I mean? That hole that I dug was so deep, but I used these hands and I used these nails and I clawed my way through the dirt right back to the top. Yeah, you might have needed a little bit of Slim Shady or a little bit of Tupac just to give you that motivation, but you never really, you did it yourself. You know what I mean? It's all, the power was already in you. You know what I mean? When it's just you and yourself and your thoughts, then you realize like you're stronger than you think. You know what I mean?